An $18 sandwich, a $6 bottle of water. You are trapped past security, and every option charges like fine dining. Most people blame greed, but airport food is not expensive because someone decided to rip you off. It is expensive because you are standing inside one of the most elaborate pricing machines ever designed, and it starts long before a single item hits the menu. Before a single sandwich gets made, airport food is already carrying extra baggage. The real action starts with the contracts between airports and their food vendors. Here, airports play landlord, and the rent is anything but ordinary. In the United States, airports collect money from two main sources: airlines and everyone else. That second group, concessions, parking, retail, now supplies nearly half the cash that keeps terminals humming. So every pretzel, every latte, every bottle of water is a vital revenue stream, not just a snack. Vendors do not just pay rent like a high street cafe. They sign up for a deal that slices off a chunk of their earnings before profit is even possible. Most contracts demand the higher of two numbers, a fixed minimum annual guarantee. Think of it as a yearly cover charge just to open the doors, or a percentage of gross sales, usually between 10 and 18%. If sales are slow, that minimum guarantee still gets paid. If sales take off, the airport's cut rises in lockstep. Either way, the airport's income is protected. The vendor, on the other hand, is working uphill from the very first dollar. It is a system built to keep airport budgets safe from turbulence. But for the people selling food, it means their prices are weighed down long before a traveler ever scans a menu. And that is just the opening act, because every dollar that leaves the till is already spoken for, even before we factor in security, logistics, or the quirks of traveler behavior. Terminal real estate is the airport's true gold mine, and every square foot is priced like it. The average rent for airside space runs between $125 and $220 per square foot, a figure that would make even Manhattan landlords blush. That is about 3 times what a prime spot costs in the heart of downtown. Why so high? The answer is simple: scarcity and control. There is only so much space past security, and every inch has to pull its weight, helping airports pay for those gleaming terminals and endless security lines. But the plot thickens. Even if you spot a dozen different eateries on your way to the gate, the variety is mostly cosmetic. 6 giant companies, names like HMS Host, SSP America, OTG, Paradies, Lagardère, Delaware North, and Compass Group, run most of the food and drink operations in US airports. That means your burrito, your croissant, and your local craft coffee might all be coming from the same corporate kitchen, just wearing different uniforms. The illusion of choice is part of the design. Airports want you to feel like you have options, but behind the scenes, the same handful of concessionaires are quietly pulling the strings. So, while travelers wander from one storefront to another, comparing menus and prices, the real decisions are made by airport landlords and a few corporate heavyweights. The question is not just what you will eat before your flight, it is who really gets to feed you, and at what price. The next twist in the story: how all this scarcity and control gets baked into every bite. Getting food past security is a logistical marathon, not a sprint. The moment a vendor signs up to open a cafe or sandwich counter inside the terminal, the bills start stacking up in ways that would make a street-side operator's head spin. Construction alone is a different beast. Building an airside outlet costs 30 to 40% more than it would on the high street. That's not just about fancier tiles or shinier lights. It's reinforced walls, fire safety systems, and utilities built to survive a terminal's non-stop grind. At Chicago O'Hare, the price tag to open a new food spot can easily top $2 million. Staffing isn't just about hiring baristas and cooks. Every employee needs a security badge, which means background checks, fingerprinting, and training modules before they can even set foot behind the counter. Each badge comes with a fee, $100, $130, sometimes more, and it doesn't last forever. High turnover means a steady drip of new badge costs, plus the time and paperwork that eats into every shift. Then there's the daily dance of deliveries. No truck can just roll up and unload at will. Every box of muffins or crate of bottled water must pass through security checkpoints, often with a TSA-approved escort in tow. Deliveries are only allowed during narrow, off-peak windows. Think 2 a.m. instead of lunchtime, so vendors pay overtime or juggle schedules to keep shelves stocked. Each extra layer of handling, every restricted delivery window, and all those badge renewals pile up before a single sandwich is sold. The result? By the time a snack reaches the terminal shelf, it's already carrying the weight of a security gauntlet, and the pricing story is just getting started. A sandwich that costs $5 downtown balloons to $15 once you are past security. Bottled water, usually $2 on the street, now wears a $6 sticker. These are not rare outliers, they are the going rate. But here is the twist. Travelers keep paying. The airport menu could be double or triple what you would see outside, and yet the line at the register never seems to shrink. Travelers are not fools. They are just caught in a perfect storm. Time is ticking before boarding, and the clock turns every snack into a now or never decision. Fatigue from early alarms or red eye connections dulls the sting of sticker shock. Anticipation of a holiday, a reunion, even just the escape from routine makes wallets open wider. And there is the secret sauce: vacation money. That mental category where normal rules do not apply. And a $10 muffin feels almost reasonable because, well, you are technically already spending hundreds just to be here. Studies of airport shoppers show that impulse buying spikes when the gate is calling. The pressure to grab something quick, plus the exhaustion of travel, makes the price tag blur. By the time you notice the markup, you are already halfway through your sandwich. The airport pricing machine does not just rely on contracts and rent, it counts on the predictable quirks of the traveler, tired, rushed, and ready to spend. And just when it seems like the system cannot be cracked, one airport tries a radical experiment that flips the entire script. Portland International Airport takes the airport food playbook and throws it out the window. Here, the rules are simple. If a sandwich costs $6 downtown, that is what you will pay at the gate. No secret markups, no captive audience surcharge. This is not a marketing stunt. The Port of Portland actually writes it into every vendor contract, requiring street pricing that is enforced and audited. If a bagel creeps above its city price, the airport's revenue team steps in. The result? PDX is one of only 2 airports in the US where travelers can buy a snack without feeling like they have just lost a round of airport roulette. But here is the kicker. Portland's no markup rule does not just make travelers happy. It turns out to be a financial powerhouse. PDX earns about $15.03 in food and beverage revenue for every passenger who boards a plane. That is not just good. It is about 20% higher than the national average, which hovers around $12 to $13 per head. Lower prices, but more people buying. The math flips the script. Volume beats markup. Portland proves that an airport can keep prices honest and still rake in more per traveler than almost any other terminal in the country. And if that is possible here, what is stopping everywhere else? Portland's street pricing experiment isn't the only policy making waves. In 2019, Phoenix Sky Harbor scrapped its own price cap after pushback from major concessionaires, removing the last guardrail on what vendors could charge. Prices climbed, and the debate over fairness grew louder. Then, in May 2025, the conversation jumped from terminal grumbling to the halls of Congress. Lawmakers called on the Federal Trade Commission to investigate airport concession pricing, putting the industry's playbook under a national microscope. Suddenly, the rules of airport food economics are up for public review, and the old justifications no longer go unquestioned. Airport terminals aren't just transit points. They are carefully tuned marketplaces, fueled by psychology as much as logistics. Portland's street pricing twist proves these rules can bend. The next time you see that $6 water, know the price isn't fate, it's a policy decision. Every airport is still writing its own rules. Thoughts below?